I'm sitting here today with Jonathan Silberstein. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Jonathan and I met about 6-7 months ago, and Jonathan is in the insurance business. How did you and I end up speaking and getting together, and what did you think of our introduction?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me. I actually been looking to get into the Medicare business, and different than from most other brokers, I actually interviewed a number of different companies. And I met you at a networking event that the two of us participate in, which is 516 Ads. And the gentleman that runs the program, I asked him, I go, so tell me about James. Is he a good guy? He goes, absolutely. And then the rest is history. You and I had breakfast, and we're now moving forward, which is great.
So what initially drew you to the insurance industry, to your prior lines?
Sure. My father died in 1999, and at that time there was an estate tax. And although we didn't have to pay any estate tax, if something happened to my mother, we would have been subject to an onerous tax, and through the use of insurance, we can offset it. And that's how I got into the business, because I just didn't think it was fair living on Long Island where everything is more expensive, and I felt there was a penalty to just be living on Long Island from an estate tax issue.
Well, life insurance is very valuable, and a lot of people shun life insurance agents.
Sure.
There's like a taboo against life insurance, and I think it's generational, to be honest with you. My father was, discredited life insurance, a snake oil salesman, and I saw a value in life insurance early on when my kids were first born. I saw a value in term insurance because I never wanted my kids to struggle.
Absolutely.
And then I learned about whole life and indexed universal life. And I thought it was a really great tool, especially as a young father, a young business owner. If we had a good month, we could overfund, that whole life or that indexed universal life. And then in times of need, we could withdraw that money.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are other tax advantages to life insurance policy, but that was the tool that I was really using, was one, creating generational wealth for my children, creating protection for my children in the event that I did pass and I wouldn't be able to provide for them. And then also as a business owner, that tool of overfunding that insurance policy.
Sure.
Do you agree? And your thoughts
absolutely.
on that?
The real problem with life insurance is that the industry does a poor job in actually, in my opinion, of promoting it. There are so many phenomenal uses of life insurance, and if it's used correctly, just like you said, you can overfund certain policies. In times of need, we all need, we need a source of money, and you could tap into it. See, there's really two types of life insurance. There's life insurance while you're living, and then there's death insurance. And death insurance, as we both know, is term insurance.
Of course, absolutely. But you'll get the most bang for your buck with term insurance. Like, for instance, it's a lower premium, yet a higher death benefit.
Correct, but only less than 2% of term policies ever pay out.
Why?
Because people live beyond their term.
People stop paying their premium.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or people stop paying.
Correct.
And the insurance companies bank on that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they bank on people paying for 5-10 years and then default.
Correct.
I mean, really, yes.
Right. Right.
Now, you also do long-term care insurance?
Yeah, when it was a lot more affordable, and it was.
I know the premiums are really disgusting lately.
Disgusting.
And I'm not a big fan of traditional long-term care insurance because it's use it or lose it.
Correct.
More or less. And there's other tools with those life insurance policies that you could do long-term care riders, which you could withdraw the money if you ever need a long-term care benefit. You have that cash value that you could withdraw
Absolutely.
from. There's a lot of interesting tools with life insurance, but so you do long-term care insurance as well. Any disability?
Oh yeah, I'm a huge proponent of disability, and that probably is how I really did get into business. At age 59, my father had a severe stroke, and he owned a very successful engineering firm, and thankfully he had a disability policy that just paid it was at that time in 1987 was paying $5,000 a month, free and clear. Now back in '87, that was a lot of money, and
$5,000 is still a lot of money.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But there, it paid for a lot, and it's. Again, it's also another insurance product that the carriers don't do a great job in promoting, but it is probably, in my opinion, is more important than life insurance, simply because you don't know how long a disability is going to last, and you don't know how severe it's going to be. But we only die once. And yes, so our family members are going to be upset and so on, but they'll figure it out financially. But a disability, that could destroy a family.
I agree. I actually just met with 2 clients the other day. Husband and wife are both on disability. They had a plan in place, and now they're getting income subsidized on top of Social Security disability income. They have this private disability plan, and it's tax-free.
It's a beautiful
tax-free income. It's really an amazing tool.
You know, I often hear, well, I have it through work. Well, what you have is not necessarily what you and I are actually, discussing. This is, you're paying premiums with after-tax dollars. Therefore, the proceeds are, come to you tax-free. And when you get your own individual policy, the definition of disability is much more, is much broader. They also have features of partial disability, such as, let's say you can only go back to work maybe for 60%, and the other 40% is you have lost income. It will, if your policy allows, can make up for that shortfall.
What a lot of people don't understand is that disability insurance, that term insurance at work, it's like a company car. Sure. You have the pleasure of using it and enjoying it while you're working for that company, but when you leave, your company's not going to say, here are the keys to your Prius, enjoy it. Correct. No, you're going to lose it. And a lot of times, when you leave a company now, you're there 10 years, 20 years, now you can't get that disability insurance. You can't get, or you can, but it's super expensive. So my recommendation is always, let's explore while you're young. This way here the premiums are low and you'll have it for life, and it's your policy.
Absolutely.
You're not going to lose it when you leave your job. And why not have 2 disability policies, and one that you own and one that you get through work? I mean,
and you can collect on both.
You can collect them both, exactly.
And everyone thinks, well, it's not going to happen to me until it does.
Until it does, exactly. Now, you said your father passed away in 1987?
He died, no, he had a stroke in '87, and he died in 1999. His whole left side was paralyzed. Wow. It was the last time he, at that time he ever picked up a pencil and did anything. It was a tremendous strain on the family. What that money allowed us to do is that it gave us options and choices. Of course. And you don't want to be forced into something that the government or things that you may not want,
Without any question. So when exactly did you get into the insurance space?
Sure. So my father died in 1999, and I remember when we were settling up his estate, the attorney said to my mother, you need to get life insurance, because if something happens to you now, okay, you're going to have an estate tax issue. If there's an inexpensive way of avoiding these unnecessary taxes, let's do it. And I thought it was the greatest idea, like life insurance, solve a problem.
So when exactly did you get licensed?
I got licensed in 1999 with New York Life in Manhattan, and then moved over to Mass Mutual, and then I ended up going on my own.
So you've been in the insurance space for 25 years,
correct,
right? Why the sudden urge to get into Medicare?
So, it literally, the light bulb went off
Okay.
a few months ago. I'm driving, and when you turn 65 now, we have to make a decision about Medicare.
Okay.
So I have a pool of people who need this particular insurance, whereas with life insurance, there's always a little bit of resistance because there's a premium involved.
There's a story that motivated you to get into the insurance business. There was your father had a stroke. That was your disability insurance motivator. Your father passed away. There was a tax issue. Or there wasn't a tax issue, but there potentially could have been a tax issue. So that was your motivation to become a life insurance agent. And now you have this motivating factor to become a Medicare representative.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what have you learned so far in the last couple of months of working with me and working, not so much working, but getting licensed and certified to work with people in the Medicare space?
So Medicare is a little bit more complicated and demanding than, let's say, your traditional life insurance or your life and health license.
Yes.
Not only do you have to have a certain, certification through the government, but then each insurance carrier requires you to go through their own training program.
It is such a gray area, and it's so ambiguous. If you go on Medicare.gov, there's so many gray areas. It's really not clear. And I think it was designed to be a little a little foggy.
Sure.
So people make hasty decisions, and people make decisions based on fear, ultimately.
Absolutely.
And I want people to make decisions on fact, and not on theory or hearsay. And that's my motivating factor to why I do what I do. And I love that you have a similar desire to help people with that.
But there's nothing better than meeting people and recommending them, the best plan that suits their specific needs. Because what's good for you is not necessarily good for me. And I could see it already that there's a lot of tension and people are, they're scared. It's Medicare. It's about them.
And if they're not scared, then they really don't know what's going on.
Correct.
And that's our job to teach them about what the changes are and what's going on with Medicare. Right. Okay. You said earlier you were interviewed for other Medicare agencies.
Sure.
Just why did you choose me?
So, the first one I went to this, fancy presentation, got wined and dined, and they had a form they wanted me to fill out, and it was basically the form was I was going to sign up with them. And I wasn't ready at that point because I wanted to do my little due diligence. I wanted to see if this is going to be the right fit. As I was leaving, one of their team members, really just was just nasty to me because I didn't sign up with him. So I did a little research, obviously, online. I found a company out in Indiana. I don't know, for some reason, I needed a little bit more hand-holding. Okay. I used to do a lot of health insurance, so I worked with this company in Long Island. They had a Medicare program. I've always had good experiences with them, but I signed up and nothing happened. Nothing, no trainings, nothing. So I met you through David, and I was really impressed, and I left charge and told my wife, I said, I found the guy.
I appreciate that, I really do. And I don't work just with anybody. I really love your story, and I wanted you to share it.
Thank you.
And your motivating factors to why you do what you do.
I think it's always important to get the correct information. The difference between a broker and an agent is something I wanted, if I can take a moment, sure. Is that an agent is someone who works for the insurance carrier. A broker, on the other hand, works with a number of different insurance companies.
So the benefit of working with a broker is you have other options, and they could present all of the options to you.
Sure. So like if you had a health issue, I would say, maybe, insurance carrier A is not the right company because their underwriting may be a little bit more stringent on your particular condition, but maybe B or C would be better. And then there are other small, minor, nuances that may be important to you that I'll have information that I can share with you.
Got it. Well, I wanted to thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to working with you and watching you grow. You're a great guy, and I love your reason for being here. So thank you so much, Jonathan.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Take care.